Mm. Okay, you get another one, Rowan. Fuck off. J-Spot Jack Cheese, Cat Pack Comics, MCU movie review. It's week 16. Whoa, it's over. It's finally done, or whatever. Final rewatch review for the marathon thing. Next week is Infinity War. Cool. I am promptly amped for it. Pretty well. Doing this especially got me way more excited than I was thinking I would be. Final movie. It's Thor Ragnarok. I wish I liked it more. I do like it. I don't love it as much as I was hoping, just because it was getting a lot of praise, but more so because of the director I'm a huge fan of. And in his regard, he doesn't disappoint. I could blame it on, maybe it's just Marvel, maybe it's their fault. This is coming off more negative than I mean to, because I do like it. It'll probably be like high-ish up on my list. Definitely the best Thor movie. I do agree with that. I wonder if that is part of like why people like it so much. It's because of they compare it to the other ones, and generally those are regarded as like some of the worst. I think the Dark World is pretty good. I think that gets a little bit too much flack for what it is. The first one is just, yeah, it's kind of take it or leave it. It's whatever. But I think they both kind of get a little too much hate. My theory or my thinking is that people just raise this one up because the pedestal it was on was so that it had to step to was so low, or the bar pedestal. Who the fuck am I? And it's funny. I like it's probably like comedy wise like my maybe second favorite, just because Iron Man 3, like the comedy in that is brilliant. It's like perfect Shane Black. There was touches of Taika Waititi's comedy, which if you haven't seen What We Do in the Shadows, it's one of my favorite movies of the past decade, millennium. One of the best comedy movies like of all time, in my opinion. All of his movies. I haven't really been disappointed by any of his movies. So yes, look at search his movie library. They're all great. Anyways, there is like touches of his style, his comedic comedy. I don't know what I'm saying. There's touches of that, but Iron Man 3 really felt like a Shane Black movie, and also an Iron Man movie. This feels like a Thor movie that's like struggling to be a Taika Waititi movie at the same time. It gets bogged down, and it gets bogged down too much in the like Taika Waititi doesn't do sci-fi movies. He doesn't do the craziest, most outlandish story he's done is What We Do in the Shadows, or they're vampires, but like it's a pretty tame take on vampires. This is like, it's Thor. It's a cosmic planet hopping sci-fi odyssey thing, and the way I might be making more comparisons to Iron Man 3 than I was thinking. Shane Black makes Iron Man into a Shane Black movie. He turns it into one of his movies. Tony loses his suit. He kind of has to be that like scrappy, bumbling detective type. He turns him into one of his characters and makes it into one of his movies. This, I felt like, and this had to have been the studio. Like they were, they know that people don't like the Thor movies as much. They're like, oh shit, let's do like Guardians of the Galaxy is a fucking huge hit, and that's a space one. So let's just kind of like let's make it more Guardians of the Galaxy, less serious. And that's what they went for. They went for more silly, jokey, colorful thing, and ultimately it works. It just like maybe I just had too much high hopes because of the Taika Waititi thing, and it's not as much his movie as Iron Man 3 is Shane Black's, because I'm imagining there was a lot more requests and demands from the studio for this one, because they were trying to like really save this particular trilogy of movies or whatever. They're doing like a complete rehaul. Iron Man 3 wasn't a complete rehaul, although they have very similar themes. Like I said, Tony loses his suit, has to learn to operate without it. Thor has to learn to operate without his hammer. And both movies are kind of like resets for the characters, where Thor's like, oh, I'm, finally gonna assume my role as leader of Asgard. I'm gonna be a more like responsible god. Asgard's gone. I need to adapt and change to that. And with Tony, he's like, I'm gonna get surgery. I'm gonna get this taken care of. I need to get rid of all my suits. It's taken over my life. I need to try to move past my personal struggles, and they deal with like very similar themes. Even I don't know. It doesn't hit as much for me. And Iron Man 3 comparisons, hopefully. That said, there's a lot of good about this movie. I really, really like the ending. I like that. I like that Asgard gets destroyed. Like it's kind of a downer, and you're like, oh, it's their home and stuff. But it's so like refreshing to see like actual change in these movies. Something I'll try to touch on later in the video, but like the whole villain thing that I'm always looking for. I'm also like in the back of my mind looking for like, okay, does this movie like need to exist in the grand scheme of themes and things? And it's like nobody else goes to Asgard, but like at least it changes something. If they make Thor movies in the future, I don't know if they are planning to, but like they would have to be fundamentally different than everyone before it. And that's like cool, that's exciting. Just the fact that, it wasn't like, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this back in the Dark World, that like it really doesn't matter. That movie does not matter whatsoever. It could be taken out and nothing else would change in the MCU. So at least this one has that. Another thing I like is the cinematography is great, especially in some of those like the flashback scenes of when Valkyrie gets like mind melded and she has that like flashback of when they all got killed by Helen. It's all those like really slow-mo, like artsy, like almost like paint. I think of like old like paintings, the way that's like lit and looks and stuff. All those shots are fucking like gorgeous. Maybe I just like seeing Cate Blanchett as like as a villainess, and the way that she kind of like chews up the scenery in all of her scenes is really good. But like a lot of the stuff, a lot of like how she is depicted is really cool. Those are like the standouts, but I know there was other scenes where I was like, whoa, that's a really cool shot. Like where he's like flying at the opening scene, he's flying away from that like flame dragon. It's like that side shot is pretty neato. A lot of the stuff on like the Rainbow Bridge out to the Bifrost, the final fight, was fucking sweet as shit. I can't remember what video this was in, but I heard that like the Marvel's solution to everything is to Captain America it, or the Winter Soldier it, or something like that, which is like they're saying that like the reason Captain America Winter Soldier was so successful, or that it kind of like they made it work the way it did, was because they give him, or maybe it's just Avengers it, maybe that was it. And it's like where you give each hero their own mini Avengers team. Like in Winter Soldier, he has Black Widow and, in a way, Sharon Carter and the Falcon. Like, just a little thing. And in this one, it's him, Valkyrie, Hulk, and Loki. Like, Valkyrie's a new character, but like Hulk and Loki are awesome additions. Well, I mean, Valkyrie too. I like her for the most part too. She has some really good moments. I like that she's not like like a perfect role model, I guess. She's like alcoholic, and she left abandoned Asgard, and she like that's how like all these people are. They're all like, it's a real like ragtag group. Like Hulk is messed up in all of his ways. Loki is Loki. It's cool seeing them come together. Of course, always down to see Loki in movies, and this is like maybe like my favorite. Yeah, no, definitely my favorite Thor Loki relationshipy movie. They both got really good moments, and also Loki adapts. Loki changes too. Maybe not for good. I won't be super surprised if he ends up like betraying them again in Infinity War, and maybe not full on fights for Thanos, but he's probably gonna fuck something up. He's probably gonna like give him one of the stones and then get killed or get somebody killed or something like that. And well, I mean, people are gonna get killed when he gets all the stones anyways, but I mean like directly as a result of his action. But for the most part, Loki adapts and he's great in this movie. Hulk, of course, which was another one of the requirements, I'm sure, by the studio, was like, hey, we want to do like a fit in some World War Hulk stuff into there too, because the comic fans like that. And the Thor Hulk road trip movie, which is how it was pitched, didn't really happen necessarily, but I think that was another kind of one of their like requirement-y things. The Hulk's great too, albeit like entirely different in like every way than like every other movie he's been in. But I guess it's okay. Like him living as the Hulk is fine. But instead of World War Hulk, where he becomes like even more angry and pretty articulate, he just is like a dumb oaf, and I'm okay with that because I'm not a huge fan of the World War Hulk storyline, anyways. Thor and Hulk is great. Thor and Loki's great. Thor and Valkyrie's great. Chris Evans has evolved so well into this like comedic. It helps it feel more natural with like how well he has adapted into the like jokey comedic character, and like seeing like the first movies, especially the first one, you wouldn't think that this guy would be such a good like comedic actor. But whether or not they did like improvise as much as they did, I've heard that there's some discrepancies over if they were actually improvising as was stated. All of their timing is great. Like even if they didn't come up with that stuff on the fly, I think their comedic timing and delivery of all this stuff is great. Taika even shows up as Korg in the movie, which he's great as well. Like his stuff definitely is like that's what a Taika Waititi movie sounds like. But nobody else really totally does. Jeff Goldblum, fucking great as Jeff Goldblum. He's so fucking weird. He's so fucking weird. And it doesn't really make sense. Like a lot of the shit he does, but you don't give a fuck. I have issues with the Warriors 3 getting killed off so like simply. Like I think that was part of them being like, okay, we need to kind of change up the formula. Nobody really cares about these guys, but still they were like pretty big supporting characters in the last two movies. They should have a little bit more than that. Cate Blanchett is like great as the villain. She brings a lot of character to it, more so than like an average not great Marvel villain like actor who lightens the character. I think she really like she adds a lot to the character. She's like great at just that acting like that. But all in all, the villain is a little flat, I guess. Not nearly as bad as Malekith or well, not Loki, but not nearly as bad as Malekith or some of the other lesser villains. She's just not like super complex. It's cool that she's their sister and all that, but yeah, you kind of do wish there was a little bit more with her behind her and her motivations, but whatever. Not a super bummer because she brings so much to it that it almost outweighs that completely, that it doesn't matter at all. Also, I wish Anthony Hopkins was in this a little more, especially with like how, I mean, you only see him in one scene, but Odin seems so much more different, and that's like cool. It's it's probably because he's dying, but he's like much kinder to them, and that scene between them is nice. And also it's not Odin, but the way that he plays Loki as Odin, that I wish that they could have like stretched that out for like longer in the movie. Doctor Strange shows up, and it's way more fun to see him in this than his entire movie. That was a great little cameo part, though, and he was just there, and then he was gone, and that was it. I like the way that they handled that a lot. And you get to see Earth for a little bit, but other than that, that entire movie is not on Earth at all, and I mean, that didn't not occur to me, but I never really thought about that before. That's neat. Something I wish that they didn't like have to do to sell tickets, which they did, was how cool would that reveal have been if there wasn't like any sort of promo, like if they were able to keep it under wraps that the Hulk was in this movie. That reveal in the stadium would have been amazing. That would have been great. Maybe like down the line, when these are like older and the kids of the people watching them are old enough to watch them, that'll be a good thing to like show your kids and not tell them about. But they had to include that in all the previews and trailers because they wanted, Thor versus the Hulk. I'll go see that. Fuck yeah. Even though it's like the lamest fight of the whole movie. I don't really care for it. I don't know why. It's just boring. Despite Loki's commentary and some moments, that's the only reason to really watch that scene. The fight itself is me. I haven't even mentioned Mark Ruffalo, but at this point, I don't really know what else to say. I should have mentioned him before, but he plays a completely different Bruce Banner, but is also great because he's so like, what's going on? Like he's half there, half aware, but that's pretty good. I do like him a lot in this, but it's Mark Ruffalo. Can you not? And I should probably wrap it up there because I probably went like way over my normal time, but I guess just because this one's more like a fresh movie, I guess I just had a lot more to say about it than the other ones because it's more of a newer movie to me, so it feels different. And I kind of thought that was going to happen, but yeah. Despite me saying I didn't love it, that doesn't mean I didn't like it a lot. So I think I will end and say that Thor Ragnarok is really good. So it's close. It's close to the border, but yeah, I'll say it's really good. The final. I'm not getting down anymore. Whatever. My face has been cut off a few times. I hope you're in the shot right now, Rowan. Be good. Really, like my top 5. Those are the ones that are like special to me. Everything else are like most past that I should say are like I'll just watch them if it's like on TV type thing. I'm not trying to be too negative on it. I think overall actually I came out of this more optimistic about comic book movies and the MCU than I was at the beginning. Especially the last year, a year before-ish. Like there was like sparse movies before, but they're really doing a good job. Like, thinking back, I was always like, oh man, it's all just like the same villains, the same plot, blah, blah, blah. But they're doing a really good job lately of changing the game in comic book movies. Like, as far as like, Thor Ragnarok kind of had a whatever, normal charismatic villain. But they gotta change it up after this. Asgard's gone. Spider-Man Homecoming had a complex villain. Guardians of the Galaxy also had a complex villain, or 2, not 1. I feel like that did a lot of like good things. Civil War. That's a whole different thing. And you still got your Doctor Stranges. You still got your Black Panthers that are you know, first movies, they gotta be normal bad guys, whatever. But I feel like they're moving in a good direction overall. I don't know. It's close, and Phase 3 isn't over yet, so I can't like definitively say, but it could be the best one. So they're improving as they go along. Phase 1 is definitely the worst. Phase 2 is Iron Man 3, Winter Soldier, and Avengers 2. Those are, they're near the top of my list. I don't know. 3 could be the best, because it's got Civil War, man. But 2 is really good. So, yeah, it's getting better, and that's good. I'm looking ahead to the future of the MCU way more excitedly than I was at the start of this, and that's cool to come out of this like that. Because despite all the whatever movies or ones I wouldn't watch again, the good ones are worth it. They make the rest of it all worth it. We'll see how I feel after. Probably my 2 favorites die. I don't know. I have no idea what the death count is going to be. I don't know if as many people are going to die in this one as people are thinking, unless they do the Infinity Gauntlet storyline where he kills everybody, because there's a second part. I just think it would be weird if a shitload of them died, and then the second movie was all the new players. But maybe. And also, I don't think they would do that. I don't trust that they would hedge their bets that much by killing off all these characters. I'm getting rid of all these established characters, established arcs, established actors in the franchise. Yeah, I believe Captain America's gonna die. He's not. I think he's still my number 2, but damn, is he close? It could be a tie. I'd almost give him the definitive number 1 spot for this moment.
Ultron cleared out, used the internet as an escape hatch.
But I think I do have to stick with Iron Man. But Cap and Iron Man are both right up there, and that's okay with me. I know maybe that's typical, but whatever. They're the best. And then probably the Hulk. I'd almost say Thor, but in the grand scheme of things, he's only been really good since Avengers 2 and Ragnarok. It's before those I was lukewarm on him. I'm gonna be bummed not to have a Marvel movie to watch this week. It became part of the schedule, and it was fun. Yeah, I have thought about going and watching every single one that's ever been made, Captain America movies from the 1990s, Fantastic Four movie, all the random ones that have popped up. But anyways, I'm thinking about doing that, taking my other random movie list things and doing that a week to week review series. Not every single week, because I'm not getting paid for this. 5 people are watching it, maybe. So I'm not gonna kill myself over it. But it would be kind of cool to do a 10-week series on some whatever I'm doing, or whatever I'm watching at the time or something, and then take a little bit of a break. But I like doing these review videos. I like posting them up, and I think I mentioned this before, but I will be doing a review for Infinity War. I mean, of course. Click on the links and shit that I'll be putting in here to watch the finally released behind the scenes of Marvel's The Avengers Trinity War. My movie. My mockumentary look at the future of blockbuster movie making. Been a long time coming. And as I said in one of my previous reviews, that it just kind of felt right, I guess. This is kind of looking for a moment to release it. 'Cause it's been finished for a little while, and I had some screenings, and right before Infinity War felt right for the release. So I hope you will all like it. I'll also be posting a lot of like sub videos that'll probably be in links for that, like bloopers and behind the scenes section, just little things to go along with it, because I like all that stuff, and I can't help myself from continuously editing this thing until it's just out. I need to get it out so I can just be done with it and not feel an urge to continue editing, because I'll just keep doing it until I fucking die or something. I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of the product, and very grateful to all the people who put all the time and effort into coming out and acting in it. And I don't know what else to say. I'm really bad at selling my own shit, but go see it. It's feature length, so it's not just something you can pop on. I understand that, but it would be really cool if you would go and watch it for all the time spent on it. And I genuinely, I think it's pretty funny. I mean, that's what we're going for, but I could be biased. You know, you're always biased. You always like your own stuff, but I hope that it's, you know, not just because of that, but that I think that it's pretty damn funny, and yeah, very proud of it. So, once more, behind the scenes of Marvel's Avengers Trinity War. Links somewhere. Or they'll be coming up. Oh!